FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
What, if anything, do you miss about the world of journalism that you grew up in? And what do you most appreciate about the world that we live in today?
Well, on the first question, I was lucky enough to catch the very end of the Great Fleet Street era. I, as an intern, worked at the Daily Telegraph in the old building that was the Beast, actually described as such, where we would literally show up at, I was a leader writer intern. I was called, actually, Summer Relief. That was what I was called. I was their relief. Thrown in at the age of, I think I was 19 or 20. And I was asked to show up at, the only thing I had to show up for was 4:30 for the editorial meeting. We would generally show up at 11:30 or so, leave for lunch at noon. The lunch would last 3 hours. I once went to one of these lunches, and to say that more than like 4 or 5 bottles of wine were consumed would be minimal. I mean, it was astonishing. Then they would come back around 3-ish, sit around, have another scotch.
Sounds pretty good.
My editor was this astonishing man. He was blind, completely blind, wore an eye patch, dictated all his editorials, walking up and down the room, chain smoking, until he hit one wall, which he turned around and walked back. And
so nothing's changed, really.
And at about 3 feet, there was an ash line where his cigarette had. Then at 5 o'clock, we would show up at the editor's office, which was then Bill Deeds, who was actually the model for William Booth in Scoop. And we would chat around for about an hour until 6. Then copy was due at 7. And I would bash out 350 words on a electric typewriter, 3 papers with carbon copy in between, which was then taken up to Lord Hartwell for his final approval. And occasionally one would get opaque missives back down from him. Like Bill would say, Andrew Sullivan, his lordship is interested in what you might be doing next year. We're going to America? That kind of thing. And then it was put on, literally, it was put on metal printing presses, which were literally, people were trained to put these little metal letters in the right order in order to print this thing, because the unions at that point were so strong. So I miss all of that. I mean, once I went to a dinner party and they had dropped my editorial on the floor by accident, and I had to dictate it over the phone. These people in the room, this is before Murdoch could have. So it was a wonderful era. It was mainly alcohol. Now, today, of course, there's no alcohol at all, and one works from morning, noon, and night alone in a dark cave, emerging every now and again to see other human beings when one has done one's duty to one's husband and one's dogs. So it was much better then, I think.